And a very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Issues and Attitudes. My name is Jeff Owens, General Manager at WEIU. My co-host today, or my guest today, is Katrina Butler. She is the chairman of the committee for the new Mattoon Community Dog Park. Welcome, Katrina.
Thanks, Jeff, and thanks for having us here today to talk about the park. We're very excited about the Mattoon Community Dog Park, and I can provide some details for you today.
Well, I guess we're going to start off with breaking news. As you know, if you're at a radio or TV facility and there's breaking news, the excitement always goes up. Now, the dog park is going to change locations in Mattoon, so go ahead and give us the details.
So. We are. As of last Wednesday, the committee met and took a vote. We are changing the location from the extension of 12th Street behind Williams School to the 200 block of Shelby Avenue in Mattoon.
So, and for those of you trying to picture out your mind, if you know where the JFL complex is or T-ball, it's that stretch of land right there. It'd be the easiest way to describe it, and that's where it'll be. Hopefully, as soon as maybe even this year. You're hoping, is that the goal?
We are. We've learned that we're 5 years into the project, and we've learned that if we set a timeline, usually that timeline gets moved. So we are hopeful that the park will be fenced in and ready for fur babies sometime in 2022.
I guess before we get into some of the details, what led you to kind of make this change in locations?
Sure. We have 10 people on our committee, and I'm going to go through that first. Steve Ryan, who is a retired attorney, and he's moved to California now, so he's off of the committee. But Mike Sullivan and we were on the advisory board for the Southeastern Illinois Community Foundation. So that's really where it began. And then Dave Cox called him up one day in late 2018 and asked if he would like to partner for the Mattoon Community Dog Park project, and he was very excited. As you know, Dave's got at least 2 dogs, if not 3. And so then we thought, well, we need an architect. So Don Hance is very instrumental in several projects in Mattoon. So he said that he would join the committee. And Elizabeth Clyde, Dr. Clyde is our veterinarian, and she's provided a wealth of knowledge. Then we have LaTanya Davies, who has a dog service in Mattoon, all for them, and she serves the Coles County area and beyond. Kurt Stretch is the park district director, and he takes care of all of our parks. So what better committee member to have on board than Kurt? And then we have a couple of city commissioners, Dave Cox I mentioned earlier, and then we have Jim Clausen as well. Brian Nichols and Scott Kirsten joined us, and I think I've named everyone. There's 10 of us currently on the committee. And we met last Wednesday and decided that, actually Kurt Stretch brought it up and said, hey, the community is asking about the dog park and when will it be open. And so we listened, and a new tract of land, 2.4 acres along the 200 block of Shelby Avenue became available. So we looked at it as well as Cunningham Park and Lawson Park, and we narrowed it down simply because the parking is already available, water, sewer, electricity, and is already there. The level land, drainage, accessibility, and the maintenance would be a lot easier to take care of for the city of Mattoon, who has agreed to take care of the park after we get the project completed.
That was one of the questions I wanted to know, and I found out today it will be city managed then by the park department in terms of the maintenance and everything.
It will. And the visibility, we've realized that the visibility is better at the 200 block of Shelby Avenue simply because the bike trail is there. It's across the street from Albin Animal Clinic. And as you mentioned earlier, we have the T-ball complex, and the Junior Football League is right there, and then across the street from there on 6th Street is
softball roundhouse,
Pride,
and as well as the skate park on the other end. So it's very sporty and outdoors, all that stuff. So it fits in, and like you said, it'll be easier for the city employees to work on, if they're working that day, to work that stretch of land instead of going back over behind the where the middle school or the junior high was.
Exactly.
When you made this decision, I mean, those are always tough decisions because I know you probably had your heart set for years on this
Yes.
place. You had an architect involved, and so now you're kind of changing a little bit up. So is a little bit of you still kind of, but you know it's probably for the better?
Exactly. And Jeff, we're very excited about the decision for a lot of reasons, but mainly because we realize that it's going to be another 2 years just to get the infrastructure of the 8-acre tract behind Williams School ready, where we feel that we can break ground and hopefully have the park open for service yet this year.
Well, tell us a little bit about the parks. I know a lot of this stuff will stay the same. It's just switching places. It's really 2 dog parks in one with a middle area. So talk about some of the details of that.
Yes, on the west end of the park, at least discussion so far, we're going to meet again this Wednesday and come together and develop a timeline and hopefully put together some more particulars for Don Hantz so that he can redo the architectural drawing for this location. But our mission is to provide a safe, clean, and secure environment where dog owners and their dogs may exercise and train their dogs off leash. Dog owners can walk their dogs at any of our parks, and they often do. But to have an area that's unleashed for them to run and play is what we're hoping for. So that will provide an effective socialization opportunity for people and their dogs. The bike path is right there, so we see a lot of activity as that develops, and we are trying to enhance a positive interaction between dog owners and the community.
So you have a small dog park and then the medium large dog.
Yes.
And the small dog park is named after Kirsten. You go into that?
Yeah. Scott Kirsten approached us as his wife, his late wife now, was ill, and she had small dogs, and it had to be the small dog park area that he was interested in. As luck would have it, that is the area that was available. The large dog park had already been taken, naming rights by Mars Pet Care.
Yep.
So Scott was very appreciative of that. He initially named it after Michelle Kirsten. I think he's changing that to the Kirsten family to encompass the whole Kirsten family. But yes, he wanted the small dog park area. So we would have a separate entrance, one for the small dog parks off of the west end, and then on the east end, the medium to large dog parks, which would be Mars Pet Care.
Yeah, and you're talking about 20 to 25 pounds is kind of will be the under would be the small, and the over 25 would be the bigger and the medium. And there'll be a little area
Exactly.
separated in between them with a pavilion and restrooms and things.
Pavilion for picnics and that type of thing. We already have partnered with the Mattoon Middle School. Kim McQueen and her Builders Club students came together during COVID. I mean, who plans on a pandemic and labor and material shortages? And we've experienced all of that. So Kim McQueen, kind of during the pandemic era, we thought, well, we can still work on the dog park behind the scenes. So she and her students processed and recycled thousands of pounds of plastic in exchange for $200 for a 6-foot park bench. And we have 8 of those, and we did 4 ADA accessible picnic tables. And each of those have been paid for, and the plastic has been collected, recycled, and Kim herself went in her pickup truck and took the plastic. I think she pulled large trailers full of plastic in exchange for the picnic tables and the benches, and we have those stored and ready to go.
That's awesome. Where are you right now in the process of the fundraising? Is the $300,000 still going to be the goal for the new park? And then
$300,000 is the goal. We have currently $92,000, and that consisted of private donations, donations on behalf of Michelle Kirsten. The Mattoon Moose has held 2 fundraising events. One was New Year's Eve party in 2020, so January 1 of 2020, and they raised about $2,800. We've doubled that with our latest fundraiser, which was Lady and the Tramp Unleashed, and that happened April the 2nd, and they just wrote us a check for $3,800 for that.
Can we go back to the committee when you first started this back in 2018 and kind of give us some insight of why you thought a dog park would be a great thing for the city of Mattoon?
Yes. We came together and realized that the work-life balance was more prominent in future generations, and in order to attract generations to go to college and then come back to our area, we needed something that they were willing to invest in, and a lot of them have dogs. And so, and a lot of our community members have dogs, we've realized. So to have a dog park in our community, we don't have one in Mattoon. There is one in Charleston, and I think the nearest one to us, in addition to Charleston, is Champaign-Urbana. And we have several of our committee members who take their dogs to the various locations. And so we said, why not have one in our community? It plays an active role in retaining our youth and also bringing in new employees to our area because they're from larger metropolitan areas that have dog parks.
The other question I have is, is it free, or do you buy a pass, or does your dog have to be, Coles County? Give us the details on that.
Yes, that's funny that you should ask that because the first year in our discussions, we talked about that, and initially we were going to have members of the dog park, if you will, pay a fee, be licensed, that type of thing. And then we realized dogs can use any of our parks, and the city's going to be maintaining it. So currently, we are not charging a fee to use the park. We have been very fortunate in the Carey Trust, the Carey Young Trust Fund that is administered, or First National Bank, now Washington Savings Bank, is the investment officer, but the Mattoon Chamber provides the distribution of those funds. And we have applied for grants through that organization, and the Mattoon Chamber has awarded the dog park a grant for the last 4 of the 5 years. And so we feel like the maintenance and the money will be available pretty much always for the city to maintain the dog park, so it will be well maintained in the future, even after Kurt Stretch's retirement.
Other breaking news for down the road, we don't know the date of that yet.
No deadlines.
Just FYI. Since you changed the location a little bit, I know you said, I think Wednesday you'll have a timeline, but do you have kind of an idea of what you would, best case scenario timeline for the park to be open?
Yes, best case scenario, and that is the reason that we changed the location, was because if we left it at the current location off of 12th Street, we realized that it would take at least another 2 years. So everyone on the committee voted in favor of changing the location. We want to get the park up and running, and so we're going to do so just as quickly as we can.
So possibly this fall, maybe, we don't know yet.
We're hoping.
What about, do dogs need to be officially tagged through Coles County? Or
I'm sorry, no, they do not.
Okay, so is it open?
We would hope that they would all be rabies and have all their vaccines and that type of thing. We encourage them to do so. If we see one without a tag, we'll definitely, suggest to the owner that they have it.
Is it almost like
licensed.
self-discipline out there, where people are kind of on their own? Because there's not going to be somebody from the city or the committee out there all the time.
There won't be, Jeff, but we will have a listing of rules that most dog parks adhere to. Pet Safe is a corporate company in Knoxville, Tennessee, and that's where I actually had my first dog park experience. My daughter lives in Knoxville, and Pet Safe sponsors most, if not all, of their dog parks. And they have a listing of rules, and really the dog owners kind of self-patrol the park. If they see something that isn't quite right, owners aren't picking up after their dogs, or they don't have the tags, et cetera. They kind of, and it's a great socialization for humans as well, because you get to know other dog owners, and I think it's more of a trust and relationship building facility as well.
Dog park, this is going to be a really dumb question. Is it open like sun up to sundown, or is there lights, or
yes, there's going to be lighting, and the dog park will be open just like any of our other other parks in Mattoon, probably from dawn to dusk.
Okay, I know it sounds silly, but I just
no. It's not a silly question. All of the parks in Mattoon are manicured, and they're in excellent condition, and I expect that to continue for many years to come. But we also want the safety of people and the dogs and their dog owners. And so that's why we make that rule.
Is there any breeds that won't be allowed? I mean, I know there's some people out there are scared of certain types of dogs. I'm not going to name names, but
right. There are certain breeds that are at higher risk than others. Currently, we have not limited any breeds that can visit the dog park.
Are you going to have other not committee events, fundraising events and things that are coming up down in the future? Anything you want to talk about?
The Moose has already indicated that they would like to do another fundraiser sometime in warmer weather. And Jeff Weaver, bless his heart, has already named it the West Mooster Dog Show. So that is probably the next event that the Moose will hold. But yes, we will have a groundbreaking ceremony. That will be a big event, and the Moose definitely will have another fundraiser or two. And so yeah, we're excited. We're hoping that individual donations. We do have a brochure that has different fundraising levels.
Yeah, I saw that with all the pictures of the dogs on your website, and that's kind of neat.
Speaking of our website, anyone can go to mattooncommunitydogpark.com. And there's a wealth of information there. Scott Kirsten is our web designer. He has provided information on where we are and our fundraising goals. There's kind of a barometer there. $300,000 is still our goal. The dog park has been designed in 3 phases, phase 1, 2, and 3. I think that by the change of the location, we're going to have enough funding, and there will already be features that we won't have to put together on the infrastructure, that we're hoping that we can jump from phase 1 to phase 2 very quickly.
It makes sense.
And
yeah.
then
you're not putting in your own electric, water,
right.
utilities. So if those are already there, then you just have to tap into them, and that saves a little money.
Exactly. And Jeff, we realized that in trying to make a decision on the change of location, a third of our budget was already going for the infrastructure. So by having most of that already available to us, we're very excited about jumping to phase 2 and beyond.
Looking forward past it's already open, another dumb question, but maybe not. Do dog parks have events like we try to get 1,000 dogs in the park today, or do they have contests and things that you can do to try to do not just fundraising, but to do social events now that people are getting out and about more?
Yes, and we have seen more dogs and more dog owners walking their dogs, believe it or not, since COVID has hit. So since the pandemic, we've seen a lot of people walking their dogs. We've also seen a lot of dog owners with their dogs at Celebrate downtown Mattoon. We've seen them in Charleston on the square. We've seen them more actually at the parks that we have in Mattoon. And as far as events and fundraising, I anticipate that we will see more of those. I know Bagel Fest has their
Bark in the Park? Or,
Bow Wow, Doggy Bow Wow contest or something. So maybe they'll hold that at the dog park.
There you go. I think is Bernie DeVere still in charge of that?
I think so.
All right, we'll have to push him on that. Not that we'd name names, Bernie.
Yes.
You know, the one thing I did read about some other dog parks is that there's kind of an age minimum for puppies because you don't want because they could get hurt out there and they're not all vaccinated, so there'll be a limit on.
I believe so. The rules haven't been designed yet. We're taking the lead from some of the other dog parks and what they're doing. So we're reaching out to some of the area dog parks to find out. And LaTanya Davies, who has All for Them, she is one of our experts. And of course, Dr. Clyde is another expert that we lean on for that information to develop what our rules will be and that kind of thing.
Interesting. We got about 7 minutes left. We're talking with Katrina Butler today from the Mattoon Community Dog Park about all things that are dog park. Anything that I've forgotten that I know you wanted to get out before a couple other questions I have?
Actually, I just want to give a shout out to the donors and the partners that we have so far, and we welcome anyone who would like to make a donation to the dog park. We feel that once they see the activity off of Shelby Avenue, that people will want to get on board and get involved. We have 2 primary donors, and that is Mars Pet Care and the Kirsten family. They purchased the naming rights for the small dog park and the large dog park. We also have partnership levels. The leader of the pack is $10,000 level. Best of breed is $7,500. Faithful companion $5,000. Park Partner is $2,500. Hot dog is $1,000. Trophy winner $500, and pet parent is $250, and furry friends of the park is anything under $250, and $75,000 of our fundraising so far has been either private donations, naming rights, and that type of thing. Donations can be made through the Southeastern Illinois Community Foundation. The Mattoon Community Dog Park has a fund there. It's a 501c3, so as allowable by law, your donation could be tax exempt.
Will you be naming like the pavilion? Will it have naming rights maybe?
We have anybody who donates $250 or more will be recognized in the dog park somehow.
Okay, neat stuff. Any concerns? Is anything? Is there any red flags that you know that you still have to overcome? Any obstacles?
Not that we're aware of, but who planned for a pandemic and who planned for material and labor shortages. Just to give you an example, a 6-foot park bench through the organization Green Tree Plastics out of Evansville, Indiana. We paid $250 for a 6-foot park bench, in addition to 200 pounds of plastic, and that park bench is now $467.
So it's almost double then.
Almost double.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So we're very happy that we had the forethought of going ahead and working through the pandemic and getting some of the material things out of the way. And big shout out to Kim McQueen and her Builders Club students for making that happen. Also, the city of Mattoon, who donated the land and is also going to maintain it once we get the project completed. The Mattoon Moose Lodge, who's already held 2 fundraisers, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention Dairy Queen and Mattoon on 19th Street. Monty and Mark Sheehan have been big supporters. They're pup cups. All of the proceeds go to the dog park, and we're very excited. Several $1,000s have already been contributed, and I understand there's about $4,000 more coming down the pike.
That's good news.
So yeah, we're very excited about that. And then, of course, Mars and Rural King have been great partners for us as well. Mars has a VIP volunteer program for their employees, and every October, Brian Nichols, I think a lot of people know him as
B-Nick.
B-Nick.
Who was supposed to be here today but had to make money.
Had to make some money. And so he's been very instrumental in coordinating that. So hopefully this October October, we will be able to take him up on that volunteer offer.
And the other thing I saw, I think it was they have a doggy cam at one web. So if you can't be at the park, you can watch the dogs.
Oh,
Any thought about that?
Wow, that's a great. I have not heard of that, but that is definitely something I will take to the committee next Wednesday. We would love to install a dog, maybe 2 doggy cams, one in each park.
There you go. There you go. You can give me credit if you want.
There, I will.
Well, we have a couple
most
minutes left
definitely.
today with Katrina Butler. I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
But real quick, though, I just want to remind our listeners out there for every week, no show next week due to Memorial Day, so we will take a week off, and then we'll be back in a couple of weeks. And I know that Blake Pierce from Rural King, I think, is the second Monday in June, and I think Mattoon in Motion is the first Monday. So it's a lot of Mattoon stuff coming up right here on Issues and Attitudes, including today with Mattoon Community Dog Park. All right, Katrina, are you ready?
Before you do that, I just want to say we have a lot of exciting things going on in Mattoon, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
There you go. Current dog or dogs and their names that you own.
Well, current dog, I had a miniature schnauzer, and her name was Sasha. We inherited her from my aunt, and she was 17 years old, and she just passed away this last February.
Oh, all right.
So thanks for asking.
There you go. Favorite movie or TV dog? Is there something? Is there when it's on TV? Do you have to watch it?
Oh, I hate to tell you this, but in 1976, I got married, and on our honeymoon, we watched Ren 1010.
That's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to go back to, did your dog, I'm sorry they just passed away, I have to mention that. Did it have a favorite snack?
It did, actually. It loved the dentist sticks from Mars Pet Care.
Now, you're a dog lover, but do you like cats?
Actually, we had a cat for 18 years, and her name was Stinker.
So I guess you did like cats. There you go. How many dog parks have you visited to try to do some research and work? I mean, besides Knoxville?
Yeah, personally, Knoxville was the only one that I have visited. However, there are several people on our committee who have gathered research from different dog parks as close as Champaign, Illinois, and as far away as... B-Nick told me there's one that he went to and gained information on in Kentucky.
Oh, wow. Is there a dog breed that you would love to own if you get another dog?
If I get another dog, I would love to own probably a Sheltie. They're very smart, or a Golden Retriever.
There you go. When your dog was with us or with you, did it sleep in your bed?
Actually, it did. My husband was not a fan to begin with, but Sasha kind of grew on him over time, and especially the last 3 or 4 years, she did sleep, and I have photos to prove it.
There you go. We're about out of time. Why don't you give us the information again for the website and best contact information for either email or phone?
Yes. www.mattooncommunitydogpark.com is our website. Please go visit it. There's a lot of information there. If you have any questions, you can reach me, Katrina Butler, at kgrim, Grim as in Mary, 56@gmail.com, or you can call me on my cell phone at 217-246-2313.
Thank you so much for being here. Great seeing you.
Thanks for having me, Jeff.
We are WEIU.